some information and help me understand better this case.
I will try. What's going on?
I understand that Douglas Christopher Hanson is no longer working at the Marion County District Attorney's Office since of 2015, and I had just got off the phone with Kim Larson, and she just told me that I was a witness to the case 14C42686, and that there's no victim to this. And like I was trying to explain to her, but it seemed like she was kind of getting frustrated with me and me frustrated with her because of the fact that I've actually was a vulnerable victim in an actual pimping and pandering case. And so I know the difference between victims and witnesses, and I also know the fact that, you know, when you're a victim, a DA's notifies you that you're part of a criminal case listed as a victim. I did not receive a victim's advocate to help me along with the criminal procedures. I did not partake in any court procedures. And what I find really strange is the fact that Douglas Christopher Hanson listed me as a victim, but I wasn't aware of the case until I started, you know, searching and researching and wondering why I'm not allowed to have contact with my own husband. And when I put in a notarized affidavit to Susan Trippin, my husband's attorney, Douglas Hanson had called me, and we had talked for almost 2 hours. And I kind of recorded him because I felt like he was kind of getting over on me on my rights, insulting my intelligence as if I don't know the difference between the victims and a witness. And like I was telling him, I also knew at the time, I don't know if he still currently is, working on the subcommittee on the non-compliance response for the Attorney General's task force on the victims' rights. And, you know, I was just trying to tell Kim, I said, well, if I make a complaint, how do I know for sure it's not going to get back to Douglas Christopher Hanson? You know, because he was the chairman for the non-compliance response, and I think that would be kind of a conflict, because he in his own voice said that he made me into a victim, not like I was a victim. You know, at the time I was 26 years old, I wasn't a victim. He charged me with prostitution. I was cited for prostitution. So, and I just don't understand why he used me doing a criminal procedure as a victim, but then I'm listed as a witness, because a witness is a person that's a standby that witnesses, that sees a crime happen on somebody, and a victim is when a crime has happened to that person. And like I said to Douglas Christopher Hanson, how can I be a victim but then been charged with the criminal crime for being victimized? I was victimized by a pimp that literally beat me, cut me, did everything underneath the sun to me, and I didn't have any contact with him, and I was labeled his victim. But the only time I became a witness is as if I was a material witness, because I was a victim, and I was also the only witness that seen him do what he did to me. So I get the part, the victim witness. But in this circumstance, Kim just told me that I am solely just a witness. So if I'm solely just a witness, it's like I asked her, who is the victim? She said there is nobody. So I said, well, if there's no victim, then how can you guys make my husband a labeled high-risk sex offender? And who does he have to stay away from? And what child does he have to stay away from? And she tried to say, well, in certain crimes that they don't need a victim. Well, promoting a prostitute is saying that you promoted a prostitute, and that means there's a victim. And if there's no victim and there's no prostitute, then how is he compelling and promoting prostitution and delivering an oxycodone within 1,000 feet if there's nobody, there's no people, there's no human body, there's no victim, there's no nobody? So I didn't understand why.
Well, it is totally confusing. I agree with you. It's totally confusing, but I understand what Kim is saying too. Some charges, and this is just a legal thing, some charges don't require the DA to list a victim's name. There's just a law, and a law was broken, and so it's a crime against the state, so to speak.
But that's only if it...
necessarily...
That's if it's a juvenile, like when I was a child, that's why Douglas Christopher Hanson put a vulnerable victim and said that my husband had Blakely enhancements, that he's promoted me as a child before. Like I was trying to tell her, I've been through this case, I know, the difference. I know what the procedures are, and I know what's going on. And like I said, I never had a victim's advocate because Willow Snowfarrell doesn't even work at the Marion County's District Attorney's Office. She's over there working as a public school as a counselor now, and she was now a victim. She was once a victim's advocate case manager, and Douglas Hanson manipulated the situation because at the time he did once upon a time sat on the subcommittee for the non-compliance response, and I understand that, the victim's advocate and DAs all work together. Great, I get that. But what he did was wrong, and now my issue, what can I do to file a complaint? Because you can't use me in a crime to prosecute my husband just to say I was a victim during the criminal procedure, and then after the criminal procedure, you label me as a witness to exclude me from all court procedures. That's definitely not what the victim's rights.
So, just to help me understand, Jessica, so are you trying, tell me if I'm wrong, because I could totally be wrong, do you want to file a complaint against Doug Hanson for his handling?
The whole DA's office, because I've tried many times to reach out. I wrote letters, no response. I've talked to many people. Everyone's, either put me on hold, and after 10 minutes they hang up on me, so... Jillian Fisher made it seem like I was a victim. She talked to me as if I was a victim, and she herself said that Douglas Christopher Hanson didn't have the authority to do the things that he did. So if that's the case, then yes, I would love to most definitely make a complaint because, I've tried many times, to contact and say, hey, this is wrong. You can't do that. My rights was if you're saying at the time that Douglas Christopher Hanson, I have videos, so of course it'll be confusing to anybody because he's telling me 1 minute I'm a victim, next minute I'm a witness, next minute I'm a victim, next minute I'm a victim, next minute I'm a witness, next minute I have nothing to do with the case, next minute I'm a defendant over here because I was charged as a prostitute for a citation. So it's a little like I've played 3 different roles: a suspect, a victim, and a witness. And from reading the Marion County's victims' rights, He violated every single one of them because I was never notified that I was a victim to a crime. I never was assigned a victim's advocate to help me understand my constitutional rights of a crime's victim. I mean, I didn't get to participate in any court procedures, I didn't go to
Is that because, from what I understand, that when Kim was talking about the case that you were discussing with her, that on that particular case, and this doesn't mean nothing happened to you, I totally get that. A person can still be a victim of a crime, and just because they don't charge it that way doesn't mean nothing happened. But on that particular case, it sounds like you weren't listed as a victim. Is that what you're being told?
Yeah, I was told that I wasn't a victim, but the DA that was on this case said I was.
In person told you that you weren't.
Well, yeah, because you can hear it yourself. He
knew I was married.
See, listen.
Right, and the marital you're not a lawyer. I am.
You're not a lawyer. You're a district attorney.
I know my job. I know how to do it, and because you're considered a victim by the state, by me, that you don't have the marital privilege. She doesn't get to claim the marital privilege when you're an actual victim of a crime.
I'm not a victim. I'm not a victim. You made me a victim because you knew we was married.
See, that's the only reason why he said he made me into a victim. And when I've talked to criminal attorneys and civil attorneys, they all tell me that what he did was wrong because he violated my marital privilege. Because I do have the right to be married in the United States of America, and I was married here in Oregon before the crime had even occurred. So therefore we have...
So was your husband, was he convicted? Was it your husband that was convicted?
Well, they say he took a no contest plea. So like I said, I wasn't informed of a lot of the things.
And do you want to, is another one of your goals maybe to adjust the conditions that he has? Is that possible to what you are thinking about?
Well, yeah, I think that I should be, well, for one, if I'm a victim, it says that even in the federal law, that victims' rights have a right to voice their opinion and partake in the plea offer. And if he gets out of probation or parole or is an appeal or post-conviction, none of the information has ever been informed to me that he's been appealed, that he was discharged of probation. You know, none of the rules that you guys have on you guys' Marion County's victims' rights was ever applied to me, and I think that's wrong, and I believe that I should be able to say, hey, well, I was used in a crimes victims criminal procedure, but my voice was never heard. And as you heard for yourself, the DA used me to prosecute an illegal case because at the time I was 26. Douglas Hanson filed a vulnerable victim, and I'm not a vulnerable victim because I'm over the age of 18. I was 26. So therefore, he did a lot of things wrong, and I think the reason why he manipulated his authority by sitting on the chairman as on the subcommittee, right, for the non-compliance response of the Attorney General's Task Force on Victims' Rights Enforcement. He manipulated the information that you guys were showing and teaching and everything because he should know you're a district attorney. Like he said, he's a lawyer, I'm not. Well, then how is it that I know the difference between the victims and the witness, and how is it that I know my rights, state and federal, through the victims' rights, you know, and I'm trying to give you guys due process and give you guys a chance to help me with this situation, or I'm gonna go file a civil lawyer because I know for a fact I got videos and paperwork proving that he manipulated the victims and witness, and this is why I've been trying to call and give you guys a heads up, or I'll just go straight and get a civil attorney and just file a complaint because that was wrong. I have proof that I could file a tort claim because a DA, an employee in your guys' in the office of Marion County's DAs have manipulated, you know, violated my civil rights, saying that I wasn't allowed to claim marital privilege. He violated the fact that I was even informed to be a victim. He violated the fact that I didn't even get a chance. Once he told me that I was a victim, I could have been able to say, okay, Doug, well, I would like to exercise my rights as a victim by, can you give me these transcripts? Can you give me this? Can you give me the information on the defendant? Can you let me know what's going on? What are the plea offers? He lied to me, said there was extensive amount of plea, but there wasn't. So
Jessica, I'm sorry. Yeah, it sounds very complicated and obviously very upsetting, and I think the two pieces of or options that I can tell you about are if you want to file a complaint against an attorney, there is a way to do that through the Oregon State Bar. You probably already know this, but I'm just going to let you know that you can file a complaint about an attorney through the Oregon State Bar. And they have a website and there's a form on there, that whole thing. Regarding the rights violations, sometimes if a right is violated, there can be remedy, but what that generally means is sort of a do-over. So, for example, if someone was listed as a victim and they asked to speak at sentencing and then didn't get that opportunity, sometimes the remedy could be holding the sentencing again to allow the victim to speak. But I think what you might want to do, it's up to you, of course, I hate to give you one more phone number, but I'm going to give you one more phone number. There is a group of lawyers, because I'm not an attorney myself, and it sounds like it might be a great idea for you to discuss your particulars with an attorney. The Oregon Crime Victims Law Center is it's a nonprofit, so they don't charge for their services. They are lawyers that specialize in crime victims and crime victims' rights violations.
Okay.
They may, I'm sure they'd be happy to talk to you. They may end up saying, hey, you know what, there's nothing we can do, but at least you'd hear that from an attorney that's well-versed in this subject matter. And it sounds like that might be helpful to you.
Okay.
So I'm going to give you their number.
Okay.
And it's 503-208-8160.
Okay.
Because like I said, I'm not, since the case is resolved, it sounds like there might not be any particular actions that could be taken to sort of redirect what happened during that.
Well, he's under appeal. He's under appeal, and like I said, he's under appeal, and the appeal paperwork says that there's no victim or witness. So again, somebody's lying.
And I'm going to PCO.
And,
So is he serving prison time so that when he comes...
no, he never went to prison. Douglas Hanson put him on 36 months of probation, but then behind his back...
Okay, so he's on probation.
But they discharged him. They discharged him in May of 2017.
Oh, so he's off of everything now.
Yes.
But it's these felonies.
Yes.
I was going to say, let me see if I can find out who the probation officer is, and maybe they'd be able to...
Well, according...
But if that's...
Well,
go ahead.
Well... From what the parole board is saying that he's on parole, not on probation, and Stephanie Allen is currently still his probation. So can you actually make sure? Because I haven't talked to my husband for the situation because of the simple fact that it's put a lot of straining on our relationship. So we've kind of been separated. And I have no clue what's been going on. I've been doing my own research, going to the courthouse, trying to figure it out.
Okay, so if you're not sure that, let's see if we can get you to someone who can tell you the status, right? So whether they'll tell you whether he's actually on parole or that kind of thing. So I do have a contact for that, and I can have her call you if you'd like.
Okay.
I won't do it unless you
allow
me to do so.
Oh no, that's fine. Like I said, I know you're just trying to do your job, and I know you're the program coordinator and everything, and it's just...
What's his name, Jessica? What's his name?
Matthew Johnson Jr.
Do you have a date of birth for Matthew?
11/6/84.
11/6/84. Okay, so I'm going to contact... actually, I can give you the number probably, and that might even be easier, so you don't have to hear it third-handed from me. The parole board has a victim advocate that works for them. Her name is Robin, and she should, I believe, be able to tell you sort of what Matthew's status is.
Okay.
Like, is he in prison? Is he on parole? I mean, because it's very confusing. Sometimes they say parole, but it's really, supervised by a probation office. So it's kind of just a confusing...
Parole. All the paperwork said
for sure.
All the papers. My school cleared me from being a sex
offender. And I do have one question. Maybe you can help me understand this too. Now, I had wrote an affidavit to the judge, the trial judge. Now, my thing is, why wouldn't she want to hear from the supposed labeled victim by the DA?
I don't know, and that's why I do think it's a good idea that you have of speaking with an attorney. And again, to be totally...
I was subpoenaed as a witness, but as you heard, Doug said that he made me into a victim, so that's why I was confused. It's not that I'm confused. I know.
Confusing, yeah.
It's just that what's confusing is the web of lies that he's telling to prosecute a criminal case, and that's where I think is wrong. And like I tell everybody, he's obviously left the office because of a guilty conscience, because of what he did, or somebody told him to leave because of what he did. And at the end of the day, it'll come out. The truth will come out within time, because you can't have a sex offender make a high-risk sex offender and there's nobody for him to stay away from.
Well, I'm going to give you can tell me how you want me to do this. I can give you the number for Robin, or I can call her and have her call you, and that way it'll give her a chance to look up Matthew Johnson. What would you prefer? You want to call her?
Yeah, I'll call her myself.
Okay, her name is Robin Masella, and her phone number is 503-945-0907, and that'll get you right to the Board of Parole and Post-Prison Supervision. So if you just let her know that you're trying to figure out what the actual status of Matthew Johnson Jr. is, I feel pretty good that she'd be able to help you with that.
Okay.
She's very knowledgeable. So that one, and then you do have the number for the Oregon Crime Victims Law Center.
Yes, I do.
And of course, you probably already know this because I know you've been researching. Oregon State Bar is where you can file a complaint about a particular attorney if that is a wish.
Yeah, but I don't think that I'm going to get through the Oregon State Bar because of the simple fact that Susan Tripp used to sit on a disciplinary board, and she's very good contact with Helen, who's the new executive director for the Oregon State Bar. So that's a conflict within itself.
You know all this stuff. I don't even know that.
Yeah, I know Walter Biglow too is going to be eventually leaving because his term is up soon. So I know we're going to have a new DA there too. So I mean, I've done my research,
You sure have. I can tell you're very knowledgeable about the systems.
I
But
mean, we
I hope those
are.
numbers are helpful to you. I thank you for calling me back, Jessica.
Yes, thank you for
And
calling
I wish
me.
you the best of luck.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye. She wasn't bad. She knows.
She knows.
She knows I
hella
know. That's why she said, oh, you knowledge. You know everything. Yeah, I know about Walter Big. I'll leave you too, boo.
Yeah.
So...